Were you about to say something?
After that, I was not getting it.
I had it done in 07.
Is it worn off?
No, I had it. Well, I had it checked about 8 years ago when we got fired at UCF. Had some time on my hands, but it's got like the lifetime acuity thing, and it was fine still then. I think I probably need some touch up on it.
I'm weird about my eyes too. I can't wear contacts.
I haven't been able to wear contacts. My allergies were too bad. Okay. All right.
Cameras all ready?
All right. All right, guys. First, I just want to mention that with the passing of Walt. Walt Emmer's was not just a friend, but yellow jacket to his core. True definition of what we talk about, what a tech man is, and what he was in the business community, and with all the things he's done over his career. The thing about him is what a great man that he was, and how much he did for Georgia Tech, and for Georgia Tech, how much he loved Georgia Tech athletics, and it's really sad. So to Kara, his wife Kara, and his 3 children, Gregory, Anna Kate, Leslie, my condolences from me and Danielle and the entire Georgia Tech football program. We'll miss our Friday talks before the games, buddy. So just sad deal with Walt, but what a great man. He's in a better place now. So I can't even say talk now. Disappointing result on Saturday. Like I've said before, we get 12 opportunities a year to go out and play, and and everyone's goal that plays this game and coaches this game is to win them all. And we didn't accomplish that on Saturday, but now it's time to. It's been time to turn the page, move past, learn from things we didn't do well. And that's the same way we treat after wins is correcting mistakes. When you lose a game, things become magnified with it, but we try to make sure that whether you win or lose, you're addressing the things that you have to get better at. And that's always the challenge is ignoring external, focusing on the process of what you have to do to improve as a football team, and that really starts individually. It starts with myself, the coaches, the players, and no different. But not the result we wanted. So we have an opportunity now to go back out and prepare and practice to be able to earn that opportunity this week with the challenge we have coming for us. So the biggest thing coming out of it is I've talked about consistency for a couple of weeks now and being a consistent football team, and we still have to work on that. And how do you become consistent in a game? You got to be consistent in practice. You got to, and that practice consistency comes with, it's play to play, day to day, practice to practice, week to week, of continuing to be consistent. And that's not saying you have a total train wreck bad practice. It's consistency in the level that you practice at as well. And it takes everybody doing that. The goal of the coach is to shrink that gap between practice and the game. And obviously, we didn't do that well enough last week. So, the focus is, what's our input going to be this week to be able to get the output that we want on Saturday. So, look forward to being back here at home. It's Military Appreciation Saturday, and having our being in front of our students, our fans. The great environment that we have here at home. Being able to play another game here, so really looking forward to and excited to be back home and playing a VMI team that, when you watch these guys on tape, they pose a lot of problems. They pose a lot of problems with things that we've got to improve on. They play a 3-down front. They like to bring different backers and safeties and blitz, and we've got to be able to handle those things. Their coach Rocco is a long-time coach, long-time head coach. Been successful everywhere he's been. Had success as a coach. Believes in the core principles that we do here of how to build a football team, of being tough. Looking to be able to establish the line of scrimmage. I talked to the team about establishing the line of scrimmage. I'm not just talking to O-line and D-line and tight ends and linebackers. You're talking about line of scrimmage goes sideline to sideline too. It's the receivers, it's DBs, it's getting off blocks, it's sustaining blocks. It's really the entire width of the field line of scrimmage there. But I think Danny's got seven championships under his belt, and 7 out of 17 seasons, so they're going to be well prepared, they're going to be well coached, and they're going to play a full 60 minutes. So looking forward to being back here at home and having an opportunity to play.
I was wondering if you had an update on Malik or Miles. Obviously, we saw Malik running around, but just what's going on?
Nothing concrete on them yet as far as what their status will be for Saturday. We're a banged up team. It's what it is this time of year, but you know what? You can sit around and complain about it and say you're hurting, or you can, it's game football. We know what the game of football is, and we have to man up and go out and practice and prepare and get ready to play another game.
I mean, I guess along those same lines, you've been to Dublin and back, Syracuse and back, 3 games. Most people play 2. You don't have a bye week for another couple of weeks. Is that a factor? Are you guys monitoring that to make sure you stay fresh and healthy?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a factor in anything. Everything that comes across you is a factor in some way or form. But no, we have been monitoring it. It's something we all the way back in June, May and June, have been working towards, knowing that this stretch was coming, of how we're preparing our guys, how we take care of our guys, and how we get them ready to play.
Brent, you guys are 8-2 coming off a loss. What is it about the way these guys prepare and bounce back after a loss that has made this so sustainable?
Gosh, I tried to bottle it up and prepare the same way for the games that we lost, but I guess the bottle had a hole in the bottom of it or something. But I don't know. I don't. I think there's a lot to be said for just the makeup and the DNA of a Georgia Tech person. Don't tell me I can't do it twice type mentality. We're going to show them. But, I think early on you can look at that. I think at this point in the program, it's not because there's a different type of practice. It's not because there's a different level of focus by coaches or players. So I don't have an answer to it of exactly why, but let's hope it continues that trend.
Last season, towards the end of the year, you had Dante Smith step up and pick up a lot of the running back load. Do you see anyone in the room now that's ready to come up and assume that same type of role to complement Jamal?
Yeah, we got to have some. We got to have somebody do that. It was a big benefit for us last year. We've got to be able to have guys step up, but player availability is what it is. So we got to continue to work to get healthy, and our trainers and strength coaches and nutrition. They do a great job of working to get our guys back available to play. So.
You are talking about consistency and practice as part of that. So that's the physical part of it. How much of it, too, is maybe an attitude? And do you sense that when you're either looking for players or coaching players, that's something you look for as well, the ability to want to have that consistency, day in, day out, or week in, week out? Yeah,
the mentality of a player is probably the most complicated thing. And you want to compound it and make it even more complicated. Now try to evaluate that factor, that critical factor. Mentality, mental toughness, those things. You can't write a number down on a piece of paper and truly know what it is. So, usually, the big dogs that bite, they bit as puppies, and what the saying is. So, but I do believe that you can get better at toughness. You can improve your toughness. I think a lot of circumstances in your past, tend to lead towards different types of mindsets. I don't know. I kind of sometimes wish I was a psychologist by trade, truly, and was educated in that. But I like to read books on it. No, it's something that we're constantly trying to look for. In really watching film when you're evaluating somebody's one thing, but getting deep dive background information on guys, talking to their coaches, people you trust around them, that part of it and the evaluation of it when you're looking to bring guys in.
I know you've played a lot of teams with quick passing game and stuff, but there hasn't been a lot of pressure and sacks so far this year. I think only 2 in 3 games. And I imagine that's frustrating, and you were very positive about the D-line
Yeah.
going into the season and what you guys were doing defensively. Is there anything you put your finger on why you guys aren't getting home to the quarterback?
Yeah, there are. I mean, that was something we did a deep dive in on Sunday. Not going to give out specifics of the plan of what's got to happen, but yeah, I mean, we have to be able to affect the quarterback. We have to protect the quarterback and affect the quarterback. We have to protect the football and get the football. Those are two of the big challenges this week for the football team. And yeah, the ball comes out quick at times. I mean, you can't use that as an excuse, because that's what it is. That's what happens after losses. Is when I said they're magnified, now it turns into what people think are reasons why, which reasons, justification, blame game. It's all excuses, even though some of them are real, right? But at the end of the day, so what? Now what? We got a job to do, and we have to improve in that area.
Coach Key, after all the success you had the first two games with the power run game, even when they pretty well knew you were going to be running the ball, were you a little surprised at the game-long difficulty that Syracuse gave your guys to move the ball on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it structurally and you look at the game, you see why the mistakes were and why we didn't. I don't know if I'd call it a super success in the first two games. I think the outcome of it was good. A lot of times plays bounce, and you get on the perimeter and guys don't fit it the right way on the defense, and we get explosive plays. Or, Jamal put his foot in the ground and make somebody, dead leg somebody and make a miss and go another, 12, 14 yards. Well, those didn't happen. That didn't happen on Saturday. And they were sure tacklers. They played an umbrella behind the guys and were able to swarm tackle. It's a good look of what talking about 8, 9, 10 guys around the ball. But we weren't able to get those explosives generated the way we were earlier. But at the end of the day, we've got to be able to be detailed in what we do. Look, certain runs are designed to go certain places. All right, they're designed to be blocked certain ways. Same with protections, all those things. So it's all encompassing, and this week is about being detailed. Knowing what, how, and why about everything we're doing. What to do. How to be able to execute it, and then the big point and the big thing this week is why we're doing them. It's not just running a play to run a play. While we're running that certain play or making that call or doing that thing, whether it's the run, whether it's the definition of a route, whether it's the protection, whether it's the call on defense, the keeping leverage on the ball on defense, all of those things from a detail standpoint.
With 3 games in now with the helmet comm system, and what is your sense of how that's worked? And then can there be paralysis by analysis a little bit with it too, with adjustments at the last second and those types of things before the 15-second cutoff, or has it been smooth in your eyes? Yeah,
we had some technical difficulties the first couple of games, but the last game was smooth with the technical part of it. I think it affords you to be able to have a cleaner game at times. I mean, it's you still have to get the call in. You still have the whether it's a defensive call and they're playing tempo and offense, or an offensive call and you're trying to get the situation or the play clock or whatever. So I don't really see it being over paralyzed. Because really from the offensive standpoint, it's the quarterback. I hadn't seen it affect Haynes really any. It's something though we monitor every week. When we go back and look at the game, we talk about. All right, that's one of the things we talk about Friday, and then we talk about it again on Sunday. Is let's talk about the communication. Are there issues, not issues? What we need to improve on.
Well, Miles has played a key role in the secondary in his career. If Seymour had to come in and play a lot of reps, what did you see from his performance?
Yeah, he's got a lot of improvement. He's improved a lot to the point he is now, but still a lot of the communication on the back end that's so critical at that spot. We improved. We're not to where we need to be, but we did improve from a tackling standpoint. And some of his angles on the ball. That's a hard position. It's a tough position to play safety with the communication part of it. The communication and then going and making the play. So he's improving. He's not where he needs to be, not where he wants to be. But I've been pleased with his progress to this point. We just wish he could inject him with a little bit of hurry up of speeding that process up. So, and that's not on him. That's just the nature of a young player maturing in the game.
After Florida State, you were pretty adamant on a Tuesday press conference about sustaining momentum, and it's all about the attitude and which these guys approach practice. I'm just curious, how would you compare it these couple days after a first loss to what you saw after Florida State?
So, we talked in the summer during training camp. We had a speaker come in. We talked about responses to certain things and how responses are. And look, we said, look, you learn the most if you allow yourself to in failure. All right. Well, look, we know every team we play is going to be well coached. Every team you play is going to have good players. Every team we play is going to go through preseason camp. Everybody in preseason camp wants to win every game. All right. So I've coached a long time, and unfortunately, I've never been able to accomplish that in a single season. So, it's something that you have to understand when that comes. Right, you have to use it, right, the best way for us. Right, and we try to level everything out from whether it's a win or a loss. We try to be the same composure 24 hours after the game. Right, but externally, we know that doesn't happen. We know that doesn't. So for us in our bubble that we're in here to try to make everything, to try to compress the message, it's hard because they go out, they go to class, they go to different things, they play on their phones, and but after a loss, you have to use that. And Coach Saban used to say all the time, you can never waste a failure. Right? You can't just turn the page and move on to the next game. I mean, and that's a win or a loss. That's a failure within a win, right, or a loss. So. I think that they were on Sunday kind of waiting to see. I think they were waiting to see how I was going to be. They were waiting to see how the coaches were going to be. They were waiting to see how each other was going to be. When they got in the weight room that afternoon, I thought AJ did a really good job in the weight room of really just hard resetting and saying, all right, let's all right, here's why. All right, here's what did take place, and here's what we have to do. All right, everybody, here, let's look ourselves in the mirror. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's hard to do as an adult, much less being as a young person. To be truly honest with yourself, and because we all take pride in what we do. But look, these guys, they want to work, they want to win, and as coaches, we want to work and we want to win. All right, we got to put them in position to be able to do that this week.
Go Patrick and then Kelly.
On that same note, Coach, what does it say strong about your team that they came back, bounced back, and came within a play of playing for a tie late in the fourth quarter after having some third quarter struggles?
Yeah, the game was we had 4 possessions in the first half before the block punt. It was 50-50. That's consistency. It's consistency we're talking about. Then you go to the second half, and in that game it was either touchdown or 3 and out or 4 and out. That's the way it was, and that's the model of inconsistency. Okay, but if you turn the fourth quarter of the game on, and it's no consolation. There's no consolation at all, right? But when you turn the fourth quarter on, you saw us being able to do what we want to do. Right? I do think our team's in good shape as far as being able to sustain through the game, because they did towards the end. It was the initial early on where we didn't have success, and it was we didn't come over that hump. We go down the field on offense, we score, right? Then it's 3 and out. So it was kind of that imbalance of the game that led to that. But yeah, like I said, these kids don't want to. They don't want to just work for 300 and whatever days a year and then not win a game. But yeah, I think that's one of the positives, that they did play for 60 minutes, and that's what we expect.
I know you like to learn from all your experiences, wins, losses, all that kind of stuff. What did you learn from maybe the way that game unfolded and the kind of uniqueness of the trying to come back and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's probably a long answer I could give you on that, but going in, I keep track on the sideline of offensive drives, okay? And that really tells, as you go through the first and the second quarter, and then you go into the third quarter, it really tells you how that game's being played. All right, it's not going to change much. It doesn't deviate much from the way it is through those first 2 quarters as far as the flow. Well, it's the third game in a row where we're sitting at really 4 possessions at the end of the first half, So then we had game planned during the week that, if they had a punt situation at the end of the first half, we were going to go for the block, and we were able to execute that. Weren't able to put points on the board at the end, but you look at it and you've had 5 possessions. So that's been a big help this year is the feel of the game, right? So now you go into the third quarter, right? It gets halfway through the third to the end of the third. You have a feel for how many. It's not guess like, hey, we got to score 3 times. We need to do this, this, and this. Right? No, it's pretty set then how many possessions you're going to get back. So that helps with the the management of it. Right? It helps with knowing when you're going to have those calls. It helps me being able to tell Buster, hey, this drive, 4th and 5 or less is a go. So now in his head he's playing it out that way. Those have been the positives. When you look at this game, there was one situation where they had the ball in the final drive. There was 2 minutes and 2:30, I think, on the clock, and we're saving all 3 timeouts, obviously, for the end of the game. And it was a situation. They completed the pass, but it was kind of a bobbling around, right? And we're looking to see, okay, and then it was like a rugby scrum. Do we have it? Do we not have it? And that was a situation where you want to use, if you have all 3, you want to be able to use your timeout before the 2-minute timeout, right? Well, now you're sitting there, it's scrumming around. We don't know who has it. All of a sudden now it's been 6-7 seconds off the play clock. So now if you burn the timeout, you've already used 7 of the seconds off of it, so you're caught in there looking. So if I had that one to do over again, yeah, I would go and regardless of what the scrum was there taking place, go ahead and burn it, then save yourself another possession. Now, it ended up not mattering at the end of the game, but that's the one when we sat down yesterday and really watched the game that you learn from. And the crazy thing is, we practiced darn near that exact scenario over the summer, right? Of being able to use that timeout before the 2-minute timeout. So that was one that we looked at and said, go ahead and do it. And now if it's possession flipped the other way, they'll wave it back off. But 6 seconds, 7 seconds, all right. It's a net time it takes to execute a play, or to get the ball snapped. It's probably a net 25 to 30 seconds that you would have saved back on there by doing it. So, but when you're sitting there looking and you're seeing, oh gosh, it's scrum, do we have the ball? So that was the big one we looked at yesterday.
Luke?
Any thoughts on Jordan Mason's performance last night? Did you get a chance to watch it all?
That was awesome. So I was sitting there working and I had the game on, and somebody told me earlier in the day that JP was gonna get the start, and I guess he found out on Friday per what everybody said on it, but and he ran the ball well, and he ran just like JP runs. And in this post-game interview, and they asked him, they said, did Christian tell you anything? He said, just be who you are and run the way you are. Don't try to be anybody else. And I thought, what a great lesson, for young players. Be who you are. Don't try to emulate somebody else. Don't try to be somebody else. I mean, J.P. Mason and Christian McCaffrey are as two opposite of backs as you could possibly have, right? And to see J.P. execute his game in that, I thought was really, really good to see. I mean, he's a great kid. He's one of my favorites, man. I mean, you talk about just a hard head, willing to block, willing to do it all the dirty work, and then to see him turn that on and say that was the most carries he's had, since back in high school. I mean, what a great night for him. And what was the one thing they said? It was the most yards on a Monday Night Football game by an undrafted, second most behind Arian. Yeah, behind AP's boy Arian. It was the second most. So really happy for him. Love the way they run the football. Love the way they get the ball in space and on the perimeter with different things. And see him be a part of that was really good. All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Go Jackets.
So can you get a fullback now? Do you like the way they run the football?
Yeah, we're thinking Kyle could play some fullback.
Yeah.
You could- No, come on.
They don't have a